Meanwhile, yes, this event occurs at the end of the first turn, and it's a pretty huge amount of dialogue, but it's all very, very significant. Interestingly, the king actually has the right idea. Wait, what? Why are they dragging the Lord of Yungi into this? And yes, actually, it is pronounced Yungi. I've realised that since I did the prologue. Anyway, why are they dragging him into all this? In fact, I don't think you've ever actually seen him make an appearance, except in the intro to the first chapter. The only reason he is harbouring the prince of a hostile country is because that, well, he was just helping him, basically. Now, that term didn't quite survive the translation. I think it should be Rotritter, which is German for Red Knights. Yeah, pretty boring sounding name when you actually realise what it really means. And it's an army of fire mages and not Kane clones, as the term Red Knights would suggest among fans. So basically, in case you didn't know already, Alvis is marrying a brainwashed Derdrie, but neither of them realise they're actually half-siblings. Of course, Manfroy does know this, and that's the reason why he wants them to marry, because their mother was the last remaining descendant of the original Lopt Empire. Yet, wouldn't that make you get a bit suspicious? So basically, Manfroy wants them to have a son so that he inherits full Loptian blood. And that's even worse because of the position the son would be in. He'd be heir to the throne, which would basically mean Manfroy would control the entire continent. There's a few designer's notes that go into those holy markings in a bit more detail, but basically those who have blood of Crusaders tend to develop certain markings on their bodies. Oh, that statement is just quite ironic because, yeah, Derdrie also has the blood of Haim or Naga from her connections with the royal family. And in case the Haim and Naga thing is confusing you, it certainly confused me when I first played the game. Haim is the Crusader, Naga is the god who gave him his powers. So when characters are talking about bloodlines, the two names are basically interchangeable. And yeah, so basically from that conversation, the king is dying, and Alvis and Deirdre's son will become the next king, who, unbeknownst to them, is going to inherit Loptian blood rather than that of Naga. So yeah, pretty bad situation. But now, back to the battle. So if you make good use of Sylvia, you'll be able to start attacking in turn 1. So now in turn 2, it's just down to finishing off the last remaining enemies. It usually helps if you kill all of them by the end of turn 2. If you do that, then Vylon is almost certain to survive. Interesting, double Luna with Thunder Sword. In case you haven't realised, when Luna activates when you're using a Thunder Sword, it negates resistance rather than defense. Which, against these guys, doesn't really do much because they only have 1 resistance anyway, so you're just adding basically 1 damage. Yes, if you have the Iron Cutter, now's a very good time to use it. I mean, it is a bit heavy, but your characters should have enough speed to make good use of it by now. And speaking of which, around this point, anyone you're using, like seriously, should be promoted. Like, it's about this point that unpromoted characters start becoming a serious hindrance. And we want to use a sword here. And I can't stress the usefulness of giving Fury a sword, preferably a slim one. You'll notice it took the enemy's hit rate down from about 37 to 0, which is pretty significant. And the general leading the group has a hero axe, so you'll want to avoid attacking him up close. Now, I was thinking this could be one of the situations where the extra power from L5 really helps, and Great Shield. Two consecutive Great Shields. And I thought that would be an easy kill for Azel too. Now, the other reason you want to get rid of these mages as quickly as possible is because they actually pose a threat to Sigurd. And I guess I'm going to have to resort to having Levin annihilate the boss. And now that I think about it, Lex should go this way. Yes, this is overkill, but I really have no other option here. Damn Great Shield. Right, that's the whole defensive line dealt with. So now all we need to do is rescue Vylon and then deal with those Axe Knights chasing him. You'll need to send a few characters back though to deal with that group that's coming towards your castle from the other direction. And if you want to save these villagers. Now, none of the villagers in this chapter give you any items, but I like to save them anyway, because, well, mainly, the village conversations are actually pretty significant, and all of them foreshadow future events. So we've got one down. Now let's hope Lachesis can take out this. No. Ah, just out. Now, of course, since you can afford to play a bit more slowly against these enemies, it's a good opportunity to send your weaker characters down that path. Easier to gain experience for them that way. And they're not hindering you on the front line.